This is Kate Krueger and I'm Talking Guns. I'm here at SHOT Show and I am really stoked because I have Sheriff Mark Lamb here from Pinal County, and it is such a pleasure to finally meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Pleasure
are you kidding? This is joy. Love the hat.
Thank you.
Love the hat.
I got about another 2 months with it. I'm actually raffling this off again. I wear them for a while, then raffle them off for my foundation. So.
Oh, all right. That's the American Sheriff Foundation?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. You were elected 2017 to Pinal County.
Yes.
That is a tough county.
It's a tough. It's a big county.
It's huge. It's on the border. You've got all the issues surrounding you.
You know, big shoes to fill. The last sheriff did a lot of good things, and we improved on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But there was just being able to come in and fill those shoes and try to stay aggressive and doing what needs to be done for the county. So. Yeah,
he was a great spokesman for Arizona, for Pinal County, for border security. Huge supporter of that.
Yeah.
I also see that that's the route that you're taking as well,
Absolutely.
being a constitutional conservative,
Absolutely.
as we describe ourselves as well. It's kind of a cool thing. So you're all law enforcement background.
Actually, I didn't get into law enforcement until I was 34 years old. I was in business. I wanted to be military. I got married instead and kind of missed that opportunity. And so I got into business, and one day I went on a ride-along. My neighbor convinced me to do a ride-along. He worked on an Indian reservation, and I was hooked. I came home that morning after a night of being on the ride-along, and I said to my wife, I'm going to be a cop. So I applied and tested. Went to the academy and never looked back. So
Salt River Police Officer.
Yeah, Indian reservation.
That is.
So it's right
rugged.
next to Mesa and Tempe.
That's a rugged area.
It is. A lot of gang activity.
A lot of gang activity.
Yeah.
Lots of gang activity. I know. I did a court case with a lawyer, and trying to get information out there was.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sovereign nation. It's a sovereign nation.
It really was. It was an interesting experience. But I saw that, and I mean, you were up detective and everything in there. That's a hard road to take. You didn't just start as a police officer. You started in the pits as a police officer.
But it was good for me. I was able to get a lot of training and experience that I probably wouldn't have gotten somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just a believer that if you're going to do something, you should try to be the best at it. Yeah. And if I see somebody working harder than me, I try to outwork them. So.
You did a fine job of it, too.
Thank you.
You did a fine job of it. And look at you sitting here now as a Pinal County Sheriff.
Some days you wake up and you kick yourself for doing it. I'm not going to lie, the politics of it is
it's all
tough.
politics.
Politics in this day and age in this country is ugly. Mm-hmm. And that part of it is the worst part. Other than that, I love the job. Right. I actually love the gamesmanship of politics. I just hate the politics. Social media has aggravated politics.
Yeah,
we're clearly seeing such a huge divide in the country right now with what Congress is doing. And so that's the ugly part of what we do. But, you say to yourself when you think, man, is this even worth it? Then you say to yourself, somebody's got to do it.
Got to make a difference somewhere.
What is the quote by Edmund Burke? If for evil to triumph, all it takes is for good men to do nothing.
Right.
So
that's exactly right. Well, I got to tell you, you've got a heck of a road to hoe. Just in Arizona alone. And you're talking the divide. I mean, that's such a big subject.
Oh.
It's so much more than just politics. There's a great issue here in this country today.
Well, people have let emotions take over for, they're not looking out for what's best for the country. If they don't like you,
they've let petty beefs take over.
Yes, absolutely.
It's pettiness. It really is. So you have an American Sheriff's Foundation. Let's talk about it.
So when I got into this, I knew I wanted to do something more. I feel very blessed. My family feels blessed. Blessed to be an American. And so we wanted to do something. And I knew I always wanted to do a charity. It took me about a year to kind of really wrap my brain about what I wanted to do. I saw that American Sheriff Foundation was available, and so I started the American Sheriff Foundation. And our mission is to bridge the gap between communities and law enforcement. We need ambassadors for law enforcement that go out and show the positive that we do in our community and help those who need help. So many people that we deal with are not necessarily bad people. They're people who have been put in, they've been in tough situations for a long time.
Right.
And circumstances prevail sometimes, and then they just get on the wrong side of the law, or they're just struggling, and sometimes they just need a helping hand.
Right.
And that's what we wanted to do with our foundation. So it's been great. We're doing really well, and we hope to have a great year this year, and we'll be able to help a lot more people.
Now, how do people donate to it?
So you can go to AmericanSheriff.org.
Okay.
We're constantly doing raffles. Right now we're doing a raffle for the Country Thunder, which is a huge country music festival.
That's enormous.
Yeah,
right?
Country Thunder was gracious enough to give us 2 platinum passes, a glamping campsite, which is worth well over $3,000, and they gave us a meet and greet with Tim McGraw.
Oh.
What's even better is you get a meet and greet with Sheriff Lamb. And of course you get the hat, so that's all part of it. It's a trip for 2 out there, and we take care of the people all week. They'll have a great time, and so that's going on right now. So we do these raffles. We have a dinner this week and this next weekend with one of our local community colleges, where we're raising money for a scholarship fund, and we'll give out our first scholarship that night.
That'll be awesome.
So
that'll be awesome.
We're just doing a lot of things, and hopefully they're good things, and we accomplish our mission.
So being an Arizona resident, let me ask you, what's your goals for 2019?
Our goals for 2019 is to continue to progress in our county with the positive relationships and the positive messaging. We've tried to be very transparent. We are working on a mentorship redirection program. It'll be very unique to sheriff's offices. And I, the sheriff, am running this program. I hate seeing these kids catching charges at 14, 15 years old. In Arizona, when you're 18, your record is expunged, but the arrest never goes away.
Right.
So you apply for a job when you're 25 years old, and you arrest at 14 for, possession of prescription pills, that's going to show up. And so what we're trying to do is give these kids one more opportunity. And not only that, I've got moms that reach out, or parents that reach out all the time and say, what do I do for this kid? He's going down the wrong path.
Right.
We want to create a positive environment with law enforcement, give these kids some mentorship, expose them, have them interact with police officers on a consistent basis, get them involved into some community service. When we were kids, you didn't get a choice whether you worked every summer. You had to work. Everybody had a job.
To work.
And if you didn't have a job, we were like, you're so lucky. Well, now these kids can't find jobs. And so we want to be able to also create an opportunity where they can go out and do community service, stay active, feel worthwhile. When you do a job, you feel good about yourself.
It's the truth.
So that's a big program we have going on this year. We're doing some things in our jail. We want to do a young offenders pod, which is we're going to take our 18 to 25-year-olds. We're going to put them in their own pod. We joke that it's the young bullpen. But it's where what we see is that these kids come in at 18, and they committed a crime, but they may not be bad yet. Well, they're easy targets for these career criminals.
Absolutely.
And they suck them right in, and then we create more career criminals. So we hope to be able to take them off, part them out, hopefully be able to get them back into society and get them functioning again.
Now, we're going to go on a serious note. It's serious to us anyway in Arizona. I know that you're strong on your stance for illegal immigration, and that's a big impact on your jails as well.
Yeah.
Where are you taking that this year? Because there's a lot of battles to be fought in that.
Well, what we've done is we have a president who supports border security. So we continue to share the message that as sheriffs, border security is very important.
But not all sheriffs in Arizona feel that way.
Not all sheriffs in Arizona, but most sheriffs do. Most sheriffs do.
Right.
And we are pushing hard. We want the message to get out to people who aren't from Arizona, who are on the East Coast, the Midwest, who don't understand it. They just hear the talking heads on the media. They hear their politicians who've never been to the border talk about what we deal with. And we want people to understand it. Just the other day in Pima County, in one day, the sheriff of Pima County said that his troops recovered, this one day, 14 pounds of heroin, almost 7 pounds of almost 6 pounds of cocaine, almost 9 pounds of meth,
Yeah.
10,000 fentanyl pills, and a stolen handgun in one day. So if you don't think that there's an issue, there is. Now our communities are relatively safe. You know why? Because a lot of these drugs and a lot of these things don't land in our communities. A little bit do. The majority are coming out to your communities in the Midwest and the East Coast. That's what the cartel's pushing. So we feel a huge responsibility to tackle these issues and to be the front line, the tip of the spear, to stop the drugs, the illegal drugs, and the human trafficking coming into this country.
It's terrible. The thing that bothers me is seeing the ranches on the borders and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that are most adversely impacted. Their fences are being knocked down. Their livelihood is being trampled, basically, and they're not even. It doesn't seem like anybody listens to them.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if anybody out there is listening and you want to read a good book, and if you're not real educated about what the border is like,
Right.
Sheriff Howard Buffett, Warren Buffett's son, he wrote a book called The 50-State Border Crisis. And he actually has a ranch down there in Cochise County along the border, and he was a sheriff in Illinois. He wrote a fantastic book, which will really give you an idea of what the border crisis is. Mm-hmm. You know, even down to things like that you don't think about, like the rancher's cattle eating the trash that they're leaving in our desert. They found one of their cows with a tuna can lodged in the throat of the cow. You know, so that's money, that's livelihood for these people.
They're killing the ranches down.
They're getting more and more aggressive. And, you know, they're bringing the cameras are on the border show these guys coming across with AK-47s and guns.
You watch them on the internet.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you see on the internet.
So it's something that we have to address. And what my message has been is shame on these congressmen and these senators for failing us for year after year after year. And now they're holding up the government, and they're holding up 800 employees, families out there who don't have work right now because of this.
800,000.
Yeah, I probably didn't finish saying it. 800,000. So
I know you got excited about it.
I did. They're holding it up, and you know, and what I say is, we've failed ourselves.
Huh?
We continue to put the same people like Pelosi and all these other people in there. They're not doing the job.
That part of the problem with the illegal immigration is because they're voting for those people.
Yeah.
And that's helping to keep this nest of vipers alive in there. And that's a sad thing. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's why my mission is, we want to help people understand what the issues are. Right.
So that when you vote the next time, we want you to think about these people that were so strong against it. We want you to understand exactly what impact it has in this country.
Well, you need to know exactly how I vote.
Yeah.
You know, I think you do already.
Yes.
I want to thank you for taking the time. I have to tell you, this is an absolute pleasure to get the opportunity to meet you and talk to you. And I'm comforted by the thought that Pinal was in great hands.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You just got to really make sure that your voice is heard. And your voice has got to be heard not just here in Arizona, but in Washington and with all the idiots that are out there. You hold a powerful position.
Thank you.
And
we recognize that.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to accomplish there.
Thank you. We hope we're just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
That's all you
Working
can
hard.
do.
That's all we
you can
do.
do. Mark, I want to thank you very much.
Thank
you take
you.
good care, and you stay safe.
Thank you.
All right. Watch
God
your back.
bless.
Watch
God
your
bless
back.
everybody.